Okay. Kaya pa tayo nagdadakdakan dito dyan eh. Kaya pa tayo nagdadakdakan eh, no? Hindi nila narinig eh, no? Okay, so welcome to Puro Laro. This is our second episode. Hindi ko alam kung na episode na to. 19 ba to? Diyan? 21, okay. So, pero this is the second episode of 2019, folks. So, welcome. Wala tayong guest ngayon, pero we have a lot to talk about kasi there are some recent developments when it comes to the gaming industry in general. Dito start ng 2019, medyo marami ng may init na balita. So, nandito kami. Joke lang. Nagbalita eh. So, yun. Ikaw, anong lalaro mo ngayon dyan?
Wasteland 2 at saka Bard's
Oo nga,
Tale.
nakita ko yun. Walang niya. Pinost mo yun, ano? Sa sa PS4 yan?
Oo.
Talaga? May Wasteland para sa PS4?
Oo, meron.
CRPG yun, ah. Okay, maganda yung move nila na yun. Wasteland, ano ba yan? 3? 2. Yung Wasteland 2. Nalaro ko yan. Tapos, kumusta naman gameplay?
Okay lang, nostalgic. Parang yung mga dati kong nilalaro sa nung 19-something. Yung isometric view.
19 kopong. Pero alam mo yung gusto ko sa Wasteland kasi it reminds me of the very unknown or very fringe na may gusto ng game na to is yung Fallout Tactics.
Oo, nalaro ko rin yan.
Oh, pero bihira kasi may gusto kasi gusto nila yung Fallout 1, Fallout 2, tapos the recent iteration of Bethesda yung Fallout 3, Fallout 4, ganyan. Yung Fallout Tactics, they're saying that it's not canon. Kasi even though it's set in the East Coast, it's set in Arizona, I think. Yung Brotherhood of Steel doon medyo fringe eh. Parang lumihis sila doon sa tunay na Brother of Steel. Hindi sila yung parang prototypical na Brother of Steel that they go to ganyan-ganyan. Papunta sila sa East Coast, papunta sila sa West Coast na nandun yung kalaban. So, yun. Pero ang gusto ko lang kasi sa Fallout Tactics talaga yung gameplay eh. Pwede mo siyang gawing turn-based. Pwede mo siyang gawing turn-based. Pwede mo siyang gawing real-time. Tapos, ganyan lang kasi, siyempre, at that time, di ba, yung mga late 90s, ganyan. Hindi ka pa nakakita ng ganun eh. Nakikita ka na ng mga Baldur's Gate, di ba, yung mga CRPG na ganun.
Baldur's Gate.
Tactics game siya, pero real time. So, para ka naglalaro ng CRPG, pero barilan. Malakas yung impact sa akin kasi nung game na yun. Kasi, CD pa nga di ba? CD-ROM. Pero ang ganda talaga kasi, doon ko nakita yung parang first game. This was before WoW or anything like that. I think this was before the Holy Trinity. That you're setting up DPS, you're setting up tanks, you're setting up ganyan without you knowing it na parang, syempre yung tank mo doon mutant kasi yun yung kaisa-isang kaya siya hindi kino-consider na canon kasi Brotherhood of Steel is always considered as parang xenophobic, di ba?
Oo.
Para sa nakakatalam ng term xenophobic, medyo ayaw nila ng ibang race kundi humans. Tapos, kailangan mag-submit sila dun sa So, yung mga ghouls sa Fallout universe, yung mga ghouls, yung mga iba-ibang, ayaw nila yung mga mutants. Pero itong, kasi Brotherhood of Steel na to, medyo parang sila yung naging desperado na Brotherhood of Steel na, sige na lang, kunin lang natin kung sino papayag sa ranks natin para lumakas tayo. So they employ mutants, ghouls, and everyone na capable that would follow the Brotherhood of Steel creed or something like that. So, yun, yung tank ko nun, may hawak ng Gatling gun tapos mutant. So, sino, di ba? Lalagyan ko pa ng armor yun, di ba? Although, syempre, walang power armor na kasya para kay para sa mutant, di ba? Pero yun nga, tapos may assault ako na naka-power armor, tapos may snipers ako na pwede mo pang pangalanan, pwede mong ganyan. So parang, parang siyang yung naging ko na early XCOM. Kasi XCOM is typically like that. Kasi kaya lang turn-based. Ito kasi real time. So parang sabi ko, ang ganda na ito. Tapos magja-jam yung mga gun mo, yung ganyan. Sa turn mo,
oo, yung magja-jam, yung kakainis yun.
Oo, di ba? Parang patay na eh. Tapos magja-jam.
Oo, tapos every turn, ayaw pang matamaan. Bakit?
Oo, yung parang, ang lapit na. Ha? Sige na nga, granada na lang. Diba? So, yun. So, I mean, on Wasteland naman, I think follows that type of gameplay na post-apocalyptic ang Wasteland. Siyempre, obviously, Wasteland. Sa Wasteland 2 ba, sheriff ka ulit? Parang ganun?
Yung Desert Rangers.
Oo, yung Desert Rangers, yung mga ganyan. Ang cool lang kasi na itsura nun, eh, no? Lagyan mo ng sombrero yung mga mga napupulot mo, eh. Actually, yun ang maganda sa mga ganun kasi mga isometric style is yung nakikita mo yung mga characters mo.
Ngayon, etong mga iteration ngayon, at least nga, naiikot mo yung camera, eh. Yung dati, di ba? Fix ka na dun, eh.
Sobrang hirap kaya pag may nakaharang.
Oo.
Diba? Tapos parang, ano na, Dev, hindi mo naisip yun. May nakaharang, eh.
Wala pa yung tech na pang-ikot ng camera, eh.
Oo nga. Tsaka syempre, ang hirap mag-design ng the tools that they had then was like, diba, rudimentary lang. Code talaga halos.
Speaking of camera, at saka Resident Evil, I just learned sa isang podcast na pinapakinggan ko. Yung unang mga Resident Evil pala, diba, meron silang certain camera style talaga na, alam mo yan?
Nakita ko ngayon, may nag-post nga rin sa diba? May pinost natin yata sa site yun. Okay, tapos?
Kaya pala ganun is, yung capability ng PS hindi ganun kalakas. So, gumawa sila ng trickery na static yung siguro PS2 or static yung the rest of the background. Parang ina-animate lang yung character. Parang less power ang kinukuha sa sa
machine, sa console mismo. Oo naman. Kasi makikita mo yun sa Resident Evil. So first Resident Evil, you can see that you'll move to the door. The door is static. Pero the only thing that would indicate na you open the door is a click. There. And then it moves to a cutscene na binubuksan mo yung pinto. Diba? Tapos next scene ka na. So halatang ganun yung nangyari. Kaya nga, ang surprising, ang ganda nun, they made it work. Kasi syempre, ang Japanese na matatalino to pagdating sa mga workarounds, eh. Kasi isipin mo yun, Resident Evil, there's a hallway there. One of the scariest scene in Resident Evil is yung pagdating ng mga aso. Yung early stages, diba? Parang, it's a static hallway. So, makikita mo, okay. Diba, hallway, it's a scary game, so nandun na yung idea mo. Pero the glass will break and the dogs will come in. So parang,
cinematic, diba? Plus yung sound pa.
Exactly, diba? And the sound of the footstep is, diba? Yun lang yung sound. Wala naman siyang background music, eh. Tok, 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 tok.
Mga filmmaking tactics ang ginagawa nila.
Oo, eh. Diba? Which I think was employed by the Asian horror scene, diba? Kasi wala tong mga wala tong mga sound. It's just them dialogue. Pero when it's nearing the jump scare part, maglalagyan nila ng konting sound. And then they'll use the sound to scare yung mga nanonood. Biglang, diba, gugulat ka.
It creates tension, eh.
Oo, diba? So, maganda, matalino yung mga ganun. Japanese are great producers of entertainment naman talaga, eh, diba? Yeah, so, ayun nga. Ako kasi honestly, I think I played Resident Evil, pero I didn't like it kasi parang boringan ako. Kasi nga, di ba yung blocky pa yung and there were other great games ng PlayStation, eh. PlayStation era, eh. Kaya ang pinakagusto ko is Vagrant Story. Kasi parang, kasi at the end of PlayStation life na yon. Kaya maganda na talaga yung graphics and everything na employ niya. Pero ako, I really played the first Resident Evil, Resident Evil 3. So, babae yung yung protagonist. I don't know if si Jill yun. Si Jill Valentine yun. Si Jill Sandwich. Diba? Ang pangit ang mga linya talaga nun no?
Yung dialogue nila, wag mo nang intindihan.
Pero binago naman nila yun sa parang remastered edition nila. So, ngayon, kakalabas lang ng Resident Evil 2, which is pretty hot. Pero inabangan ko pa rin yung 3 Kasi, yun yung kumbaga, wala pang meme nun, pero meme na yun Diba? Yung stars. Hahabulin ka. Kasi sa Resident Evil, I think there's I don't know what he's called. I forgot what he's called. So, comment nyo na lang kung anong tawag dyan sa pangalan doon sa protagonist. Ay, sa antagonist niya. Yung malaki. Pero doon kasi nag-start yun Sa Resident Evil 3, that's where it, I think, started. Where a protagonist is almost bulletproof. And it's undying. You can only stop that antagonist from killing you. Pero later, babalik siya. Which is yun yung sa Resident Evil 3, yung stars, yung malaking Hulk ng So, ang makakapatay lang sa kanya, I think it's like 3 grenade launchers. Ang hirap-hirap humanap ng bala ng grenade launchers. Although, pero para sa kanya lang naman talaga yun. Hindi mo na kailangan kahit sa maraming zombie, hindi mo na kailangan Tsaka yun yung first, I think, Resident Evil that employed automatic weapons. Nung una kasi puro sila handgun, ganyan. Diba? Tapos napunta ka na dun sa, it's the same almost gameplay pagdating sa silences, which is just like handgun. I think at most may shotgun ka pero wala kang automatic weapons. Kasi syempre, ang bilis maubos ang automatic weapons. Pag kinabahan, wala lang, click, 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 patay! So yun. Ano pa nilalaro mo ngayon?
Alam mo yung Bard's Tale?
Bard's Tale? Ito ba yung bago?
I don't know. Parang lang. Yung remastered lang siguro to.
Remastered.
Yung snarky na tapos with lots of double meaning. Maraming double meaning at saka innuendo lines.
Ganun yan May nilalaro akong ganun, I think, way back when, I think 2011, 2012, I got there's a mobile game, Bard's Tale. I don't know if it's Bard's Tale 3 or something like that. But it was good. It was good. It was 3D. It was playable. Just heated up your cell phone so much. Kaya tinitigil ko yung paglaro kasi nga 3D siya. Pero, yun, my phone could handle it. Yun, nakakatawa naman. Ganon din, mga jokes din, mga ganon. Although, I don't know what's the difference between Bard's Tale now. Maganda ba siya?
I mean, parang 1980s, Pero okay lang. Okay naman siya. I mean, nakakatawa siya Pag kunyari, namatay ka, tapos you're doing it, tapos may cutscene ulit, pindutin mo yung next, yung merong narrator, sabi, next! Gaganon siya.
Nakakatawa yung ganun. Nakalimutan ko yung simula nung gano'n.
Yung game na self-aware ba?
Oo, may gano'n na game May gano'n na game. I forgot the name of the game. Pero it was like a simple top-down game where whatever you're doing, the narrator is aware. Di ba? So, talagang lahat yun yung story mo talaga. As in talagang ultimo simpleng ganyan. Nakakatawa kasi parang ang ganda ng na yun. Although hindi naman siya sumikat masyado. It was just praised or whatever by the gaming media. Pero that's it. It didn't really make waves. Pagdating sa this was not revolutionary. Pero sa tingin ko revolutionary naman siya kasi parang bihira yung ganun Isipin mo kung ganun sa sa God of War. Ang lupit kaya ng God of War kung ganun. Kaya lang walang comedy kasi yun medyo may comedy di ba? Pero yun. Ano pa? Marami kang ini-install ngayon
Hindi, yun lang muna. Kinuha ko from from the Humble Bundle yun
Okay. From the Humble. O nga pala, guys, yung mga deals namin sa Humble Bundle, legit yun Legit yun. Magaganda talaga yung mga deals na yun. So if you guys are interested, just click on it. You not only help charity when you do that, you also help our program to keep it going. So yun. May usapan kami niyan. Alam mo naman, joke lang. we make deals left and right. Joke lang. Wala kaming ganun. Pero yun lang yung Humble Bundle. I mean, it's the same as getting yung mga, di ba, yung mga Steam is yung mga weekend sale. So it's the same as that. These are good deals. So, abangan nyo yung mga, lalo na may mga deals sila na pag bago yung game, abangan nyo yung mga deals na yon. Kasi magaganda talaga yon. Usually they have deals after mga a month or two pag-release ng isang magandang game. So they have deals for that. Yun. Just check out our posts pagdating doon. Click nyo lang. Ayos na yun. Kung sweldo yan, bili kayo. Hindi naman sa amin mapupunta yung pera na yun. Ayan. Ayun. Ako ngayong marami ako in-install na game
Nalalaro mo?
Hindi. Kine-check out ko lang kasi kung maganda siya yung graphics niya. Kasi, alam mo naman.
Dahil sa ano?
Bumili ako ng bagong graphics card, ang RTX 2060. So, ngayon ko lang kasi, for a longest time, I've been that sour graping PC gamer na parang I don't need, 'di ba? Parang I don't need high-end graphics. I can make it work. By kasi syempre, I mean,
in denial ba?
Hindi naman denial pero parang marunong naman ako sa computer. So I know what parts I will buy that would make it efficient enough to actually run at high settings, yung mga ganon. So I don't need to be sales stock to kailangan mo ng high-end graphics. Kasi parang most of the games that I play is online multiplayer. And if you're like on ultra settings, it doesn't matter. Kasi if a low settings can kill you, so what does it say sa mga gumastos ka, di ba? It's skills most of the time. So parang sa akin, hindi importante yon. Pero there are other games that I install on my PC that I play. Tulad yung mga, as simple as Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Which I can run on low settings kasi it's the same game. Pero the experience on ultra settings is like, oh my God. Pero literally, naluluha talaga ako. Kasi parang, I finished The Witcher 3 on like medium settings, I think. It was okay. I liked the game. It was the same excellent game. Pero without that breathtaking experience of graphics. Kasi hindi nga ako si graphics, si gameplay ako Pero nung binili ko kasi itong GTX 2060, I'll explain later why I bought GTX or RTX 2060. Why I bought RTX 2060 is because of one thing. Pero yun nga, balik tayo sa games na in-install kasi parang Monster Hunter is now a different game. Even yung simple game of Frostpunk is a different game on ultra settings. Ano pa ba? NBA 2K19 is a different game pagdating sa pag naka-ultra settings ka. I mean, para ka nang nasa NBA game talaga. I mean, literally, parang like, oh my God, these guys are moving like they're not 30 frames per second now, they're like 60 frames per second. So, sa akin kasi, pumapalo siya ng mga 80, 90 frames per second. Hindi na alam ng mata ko yun, malay na ng mata ko yun, di ba? Single 60 frames lang yung nakikita ng mata ko. Actually, even 40 plus lang naman nakikita yata ng mata natin Pero yun nga, these are sobrang visually, talaga. Sabi ko, ganda pala talaga, I mean, Rome Total War, a very old game that I never played on high settings. I always had this parang, hindi pala siya naka-high settings sa akin yan. Parang, yung iba lang high. So, syempre kasi may yun, di ba? May mga menus. Parang may toggle na high yung detail, tapos pero low yung mga shadows, yung mga ganun. So ngayon, pag lahat siya naka-extreme sa Rome Total War, sabi ko, I noticed a lot of things that weren't included in the previous playthrough. It was like, may fog pala talaga. So, sabi ko, parang walang mga cheat mode pala ako nung naka-low settings ako. Kasi parang, ngayon, I'm immersed. to the game. Kasi may fog talaga. Kasi may literal fog of war sa field. So hindi ko nakikita yung mga archers and everything like that. So before, parang wala lang. I was playing like chess. Kasi I was moving this. Pero ngayon kasi nakikita mo na talaga yung blood and gore. Nakikita mo na kung paano sila mag-away talaga ng tama. Nakikita mo sila lahat. Yun nga. So The Witcher 3 is like a different world. It was like, oh my God. Welcome to the ultra settings world. So yun. Oo nga. Sobrang di ka, I mean, post ko sa Facebook ko parang I dreamed the dream. Kasi parang, I mean, I never expected for me to like buy that kind of hardware. RTX 2060 is not even the high end. Of course, it's like 2080 Ti. Mga pang 4K na yon. I've yet to experience ko pero kaya ko mag 4K dito sa graphics card na binili ko. Pero yun nga, the reason why I bought this, eto issue to pare. Kasi my theory is Nvidia just shot themselves in the foot. Okay? So for all of you guys that are listening right now, PC gamers and everything, if you have a GTX 1070 and GTX 1070 Ti, you know how much you bought for that machine. So that's like 30,000, 40,000 pesos. Depende pa sa brand yun. Depende pa sa brand. If it's like MSI, mga ROG, kung ano-anong brand yan, Aorus, Gigabyte by Aorus, yun, lahat yan. Mga mahal na brand yan. That's like 30,000 to 40,000 when it came out. I think even 50,000. Kasi 1080 Ti, I think, is like 80,000. So para sa mga mga rich na PC gamers talaga na gusto na talaga super ganda ng rig nila. I bought RTX 2060 for like 20,000. And the reason why I'm saying Nvidia just shot themselves in the foot. RTX 2060 is like 19% better than 1070 Ti and 1070. But they're still selling it up to this day for 30,000. Ang GTX 1070. Pero they're selling RTX 2060 now. It's out in the market. It's out on everywhere. Pero I think some of it wala pang stock. Pero alam nilang meron. They're selling it for 20,000. So, sa tingin Nvidia just shot themselves in the foot. They're gonna lose their 1070. Pero everyone bought 1070 kasi it's much more popular than 1080. Kasi 1080 kasi medyo talagang magandang graphics card yan. High-end. High-end to the last na yan. Unless Titan yung gamit mo. Kasi talagang super Diyos ka na. Pero yun yung pag sinabi mong, gusto ko mag-high-end, yung pinaka-latest na high-end, this is GTX 1080 Ti. Pero kung you're on a budget, a little bit, parang masyadong mahal. Pwede akong for 20,000 pesos less, I can buy a GTX 1070, which is most of PC gamers bought that. And they're good. They're on high level, they're on ultra settings, they're everything. Pero when RTX 2060 came out, yun na yun. Yung 1070 nila, obsolete na kaagad. And that's only 2 years when it came out. So parang, yun yung iniisip ko na parang, bakit ginawa ng Nvidia yun? To their own product, ha? If it's AMD naman kasi is, not to disparage yung mga AMD, yung mga RX users dyan na may graphics card and all that. You bought that because that was the bundle that was being offered to you, probably. Or siguro talagang gusto mo yan. Gusto mo talaga ng AMD. Pero AMD we're talking about PlayStation versus Switch. Switch is great. Everyone would agree with that, di ba? Pero niche gaming ang Nintendo eh. We can all agree to that, di ba? If you like Nintendo games, you still buy Nintendo up to this day. Pero if you want high-end graphics, you want to be in with the crowd, you buy a PlayStation 4. Di ba? So that's the difference between Nvidia and AMD. AMD being Nintendo. And Nintendo games are great. Legend of Zelda is one of the greatest game ever made. Pero that's Nintendo.
Bold statement yan, ha?
Oh, it's one of the greatest game ever made. I mean, literally. Kasi talagang maganda yung experience ng mga, I mean, you can ask anyone who played Breath of the Wild. It's one of the greatest game ever made. It can even stand toe-to-toe with The Witcher 3. Kasi talagang revolutionary yung mga ginawa nila versus sa ibang Legend of Zelda, di ba? So, yun. Tsaka pinaghirapan naman talaga ng Nintendo yun. May isang dekada yata ginawa yun eh. Di ba? Dapat ilalabas siya sa Wii. Hindi siya nilabas sa Wii. Nilabas siya sa Wii U, hindi. So, nilabas siya sa Switch. So, ganun katagal. Yun. So, yun. Ano pa ba? Past, I think, 2 weeks, there has been a debacle on the AAA scene. I think it has something to do with Anthem. So, nga pala, may libre akong game dyan dahil 2016, may promo NVIDIA. May podo NVIDIA GeForce. You can get either a Battlefield 5 or an Anthem for free as long as you bought any RTX series graphics card from any sources, kahit Zotac, kahit ano. You just have to go to the manufacturer's website and then subscribe and everything. So, I'm 5 days in from my 10 days. Sana mag-reply na sila. Kasi, the reason why, kasi gusto kong kumuha ng Anthem. And if it's Anthem for free, I wouldn't be affected on what's going on right now. And yun yung pag-uusapan natin. So, what is going on right now is, obviously, we've talked about several times on how interesting EA as a company is. But we're not talking about just EA. We're talking about one of the greatest developers that was ever created or that ever existed is Bioware. Diba? So, alam naman natin yung Bioware. For those who don't know, they are responsible for very great games. Most famously, Mass Effect series, the Dragon Age series. Pero for others, for the oldies, they are known for the KOTOR series, which is the Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars games. Oo, 'di ba? So, ito yung mga malulupit talaga na game na developers na masasabi mong Diyos talaga sila pagdating sa storytelling. Pero it turns out Anthem would have very minimal story and would focus more on the gameplay. Ikaw, John, you played SWTOR, di ba?
Oo.
So, would you say that the gameplay of SWTOR is top-notch in an MMO scene?
Siguro lang, yung it touches on the what you
core
expect.
Mechanic. Pero, I mean, in terms of revolutionizing the MMO genre, did SWTOR do that? Do you think? Ayan, may sagot na kagad yan. Ayan pa lang eh.
Hindi. Pero doesn't matter sa akin kasi
yun
Star Wars fan ako.
Yun nga. Pero one thing I think that nobody can deny that Bioware did to SWTOR is it revolutionized the storytelling in an MMO. Kasi you have not seen an MMO tell a story that way. Di ba?
Yeah.
I mean,
tama.
Di ba? Ang SWTOR is cut above the rest when it comes to storytelling. I mean, one can even say na it's the greatest storytelling MMO ever. Siya yung pinakamaganda talagang story. Regardless kung Star Wars pa yan o hindi. Pero yung how it attacked, yung character, yung personal story mo as part of the world is iba talaga. Kasi ginawa niya talagang Bioware style. May what do you call this? May conversation. You can choose the conversation. You can choose the path that you want. So, syempre, if you can choose the path that you want, you can either choose a dark side, di ba? Parang language, ano yun yung conversation or not. So, yun yung kakaiba niya. And how it finalized, kasi kahit anong class, I think there were 8 character classes, right? Mga 8 character classes. On all.
Four
per each, di ba? For each faction.
For archetypes, tapos 2 faction.
So, bali 8 character classes. Kanya-kanya yan. Iba ang, kahit sabihin na nating kahit sabihin na nating, what do you call this, ang Jedi is for Sith Warrior para magkapareha sila ng class pagdating sa gaming character class, di ba? Pero yung stories nila is way, way different. It's just it's not the opposite. The Sith, the Jedi Warrior is not the same, or Jedi Knight is not the same with the Sith Warrior. Hindi siya opposite lang na pareho silang story tapos magkaiba lang ng faction. Hindi. Iba yung story nila pareho. So yun yung kagandahan. So it's 8 unique storylines, and how they attacked it was very good. Pero yun nga, as we've discussed, the gameplay of SWTOR is what failed it. Kasi nga, it's the usual MMO grind and everything, plus marami pang kulang. You can't do this, you can't do that. I won't enumerate it anymore. Pero parang yun yung parang low point ng SWTOR. That's why it didn't kill WoW as it promised. Kasi yun naman sinasabi palagi nila pag may bagong gawa ng isang AAA, WoW killer. So hindi niya na replace ang mga players ng WoW. Kasi nga it didn't live up to expectation. Plus yung endgame content is bad and at launch. Binread through lang ng mga tao yung end game content. Tapos, saan na? Wala na. Ubus na.
Na-underestimate nila yung skill ng mga tao.
Yun nga. Lagi nga, di ba? Pag sa MMO, laging ganun. And I don't know what is wrong with this company, this publisher. Pero they're experienced in failing AAA MMOs. Yun nga, I played 2 of them. Ba't nagkitiwala pa ako sa EA? Pagdating sa MMO. Pero magaganda kasi talaga yung idea nila. As in, sobrang magaganda. Kasi I played Warhammer online. And this was also EA Mythic and everything. So, nag-fail din yon because gusto nila patayin yung WoW. Ganun din. End-game content din. It's the same as SWTOR, end-game content. Gameplay sucks, ganyan. Maraming bugs. Ayan. Diyan tayo. Ngayon, now they're not doing an MMO, pero they're doing an online, ang tawag dito sa genre na to is looter shooter. So for those who do not know what the looter shooter is, Destiny. Basically Destiny. So in a sense, basically Diablo. So
okay.
So Diablo is addictive. Not because of the great storyline of Diablo and all that. Very few actually casually play Diablo. Na maglalaro lang sila tapos tapusin nila yung story tapos hindi nila sila maglalaro. Sayang yung Diablo kung ganun. You play Diablo because of the loot and grinding system. Kahit paulit-ulit pa yung mga kalaban. Kasi anytime naman na mag-exit ka sa Diablo, let's say, tapos ka na maglaro, pagod ka na after like 3-4 hours, 5-hour gameplay. Pag wala niya, yung map mo, it's not gonna be the same when you log in again. It's gonna be randomly generated, di ba? So paglabas mo ng town, iba na yung itsura ng mapa na yan. Nasa iba na yung mga lugar mo, yung mga missions mo, iba na, rearrange na yan. So, basing on that, you can play Diablo indefinitely. So why and what keeps you coming back is you get a different loot every time you like kill a boss or kill Diablo or anything like that. You can get a different item every time. So that's what keeps you coming back from Diablo is parang gusto mong palakasin yung character mo talaga to the point. And that's what a loot-based game is. Pero ito, ang Diablo is like RPG. Action RPG, loot-based. Pero itong Destiny kasi bago. So loot-based siya, pero shooter siya. First person nga lang ang first person ang Destiny. Also, ang sumubok na next sa ganyang klaseng genre is The Division. The Division failed miserably. I think it's first year. Daming nagalit kasi ang daming pangit, ang daming ganda. Although they kept coming back because of addicting kasi yung loot-based system. Kung sa mga gamers dyan, alam nyo kung ano yung loot boxes, kung gaano siya nakaka-addict kunin, yun yung idea kung bakit nakaka-addict ang loot boxes. Because of loot. Kung ano yung makukuha mo sa chest na yan. Ikaw, di ba, John, nag-wow ka? Di ba? Nagra-raid kayo. Di ba pag may chest yan, every time you finish a boss, may chest yan. Ano yung pinaka nakaka-addict? Is yung role, di ba?
Need greed.
Oo, need greed, di ba? Yan yung nakaka-addict eh. Yan yung nakaka-addict dyan. Kasi ano yung makukuha ko? Di ba? And every time you see like one of the high-end colors, ano ba yung high-end colors sa WoW? Purple?
Epic. Epic. Merong legendary pero hindi ako nakakuha sa ano yun eh. Quest yun eh.
Oo. So, yun, pag nakakita ka ng ganon, anong unang-una mong gagawin? Para nakakita mo. Masaya, di ba? Yung feeling na ganon. So, that kind of addiction is now marketed on a game, on an entire game, which is loot-based. Kaya naging addicting ang Destiny. It's not because, pero although, I mean, credit to Bungie. We'll talk about Bungie a little later. Kasi maganda rin yung simula ng 2019 nila. So, ang credit to Bungie because experienced na naman sila sa Halo and everything. They created a game which is a good shooter. Maganda yung feeling ng barrel, maganda yung feeling ng pagbabarrel mo and everything. Maganda yung gameplay, nakaka-addict, plus loot-based. Kaya kumita yung Destiny. This is also one of the reasons why Activision got Bungie, because of that kind of idea that they're gonna rake in so much money because of Destiny. And yeah, Destiny is one of the greatest loot-based shooter out there. Ang gumaya sa Destiny sa susunod is Division. Yun nga, a year on Division, it sucks. Pangit yung endgame, nakakatamad. Pero yun nga, they keep coming back to it because of the loot. Yun. But at the end of Destiny's life, before they announced Destiny 2, which is coming this year, I think March, Destiny was the game that they intended to release. Maganda na siya ngayon. The Division is what they intended to release now. Maganda na talaga siya. Kompleto na lahat. Wala nang bugs. Well, konti na lang. Pero hindi na siya yung game-breaking bug. So, okay na siya. Kaya lang, it's a little too late kasi nga umalis na yung mga tao. They moved on to another, which is, at that point, Destiny 2 already released. Destiny 2 had so much criticism, not because pangit yung gameplay, not because hindi na siya nakaka-addict and all, but it's the same game as Destiny 1. They didn't change anything. They reskinned it, made another story. It's more of an expansion rather than a second game. So yun, siguro iniba lang nila yung graphical fidelity and everything. But there's nothing new. There's nothing new. There's no revamp, nothing. And this is what the Division 2 is doing. It's learning from its mistakes, but it also has a different setting. So Division 2 is almost taking the path of the same as Destiny. Titingnan natin and everything kung maganda. Pero this time, we're gonna do it right at launch. Everything will be great. So yun, papayag naman yung mga Division fans and everything, so they'll wait and see when it releases. And so far, I think previous to sa mga alpha, I think alpha test is good. Wala namang negative in it. May mga mechanics lang na medyo against sila kasi wala nang, ewan ko ba't nagagalit yung mga ano na yun. Pero for those who have played the Division, ang normal kasi sa Division, pagdating sa Dark Zone, which is yung PvP area, is to camp yung mga newbies na lumalabas sa gate. So pag namatay ka, pupunta ka doon, babalik ka sa gate. Yung mga malalakas, magka-camp sila doon, patayin nila yung mga tao. So ngayon, you can't do that. Why? Because there's already a turret on the gate. And it can drop you even if you're high level. It can drop you So, protektado na sila. Kumbaga sa WoW, I think there's like high-level NPC. Parang isang hataw kapatay ka na. Isa, dalawang hataw kung malakas na malakas ka. May ganun, di ba? Parang mga NPC na sobrang lakas na pag lumapit ka dun sa faction, sa kabilang faction is parang patay ka agad, di ba? So, ganun din. It's the same.
Elite.
Yung mga elite. So, mga protection lang yan. Kasi ikaw kahit tier 10 ka na wala ka pa rin laban dun, di ba? Tama ba yan? Wala ka pa rin laban. Mga dalawang hataw ka pa rin. So, yun. So, ganun yun. They implemented that. So, some of the gamers are actually umaangal sila doon. Pero, I don't know why. Kasi parang, bakit? Gusto mo talaga maging bully. Pero yun nga. I mean, pag hardcore kasi okay yun. Pag hardcore to hardcore, di mo kailangan ng turret. Talagang laban tayo. Sige, antay mo ako lumabas ulit. Diba? Kung hardcore gamer ka versus yung nag-aabang sa'yo hardcore. Pero kung newbie ka, mata-turn off ka sa game Hindi ka na maglalaro ulit. Kasi ay mga bully yung mga dito. Diba? Kasi hindi ako maka-level up kasi inaabangan nila ako. Hindi ko magamit yung dark zone. Hindi ko magamit yung PvP area. Na may mga PvE content din sa loob. Na may mga loot. Hindi mo makakuha kasi nag-aabang yung mga players. So, yun. Anyway, move on tayo to EA's game, which is our main topic. So yung EA just created Anthem. Anthem has been there for I think they've been showing it for 3 years now. I think the development of Anthem is 10 years. I'm not really sure. Pero yun, I think after SWTOR, this is what one of the small teams in Bioware has been working on. Basically, for those who haven't heard of them, Anthem is also a loot-based game. The only premise is that unlike a Division that you're real-world settings, unlike the Destiny that you are a guardian, so-called, with cool costumes. Ito naman, may suit ka. So, think of Iron Man. Iron Man to playing And what does Iron Man does? Hindi siya katulad ng Destiny. Sa Destiny kasi tumatalon ka naman, double jump ka and everything. Kasi ka superhuman ka. Sa naman, the Division, wala kang jump. Pero meron kang cover mechanics na parang totoong parang real world scenario and everything like that. Na magtatago ka tapos babaril ka and everything. Asintahin mo sila. Pagdating naman dito sa dahil nga Iron Man ka, nakakalipad ka. So yun yung medyo catchy pag first look. Talaga nakakalipad ka, tapos you can fire all these missiles from above. You have all these skills and everything like that. You have a gun, which is part of the loot base na pwede mo makuha and everything, plus your armor and everything. So yun, ito yung mga marketing stunt nila. Pero it's the same, what do you call this? It's the same game, loot-based game. So you're there, you're being driven by loot. The thing is, the reason why I brought up all these segues and all that, yung mga SWTOR and everything because we're talking about Bioware and EA. So EA is known, EA talaga, parang Activision, payag talaga sila sa ganitong klaseng game. Ang problema lang is kadamay ang Bioware. Bioware made this. Bioware is known for its single-player RPGs. They're very addicting, di ba? 100 hours, ganyan a game and everything. Because your story is so deep. But Bioware is making this game na mababaw lang ang story. Of course, there's gonna be a story, there's gonna be a backdrop. Pero it's not gonna be based. Even Bioware admitted na hindi to yung typical na ginagawa namin. Ito yung may story ka, may ganito ka, ganyan. Pero we're gonna focus on the gameplay. Pero yun nga dyan. So you said the last iteration, SWTOR and everything like that didn't have very good gameplay. And considering Mass Effect 3, and di ko pa sinasabi yung pinakamalaking wasak talaga nila sa Mass Effect series. I'm not even including that, guys. I think the others are already waiting for me to say it. Pero yun nga, Mass Effect 3 didn't have great gameplay compared to Mass Effect 2, which is I think their crown jewel of the Mass Effect series. So yun, didn't have great gameplay, but had the greatest story. Pero Mass Effect 2 was like, okay, ano, parang range na, okay, I can accept this as a cover-based shooter and everything like that. It works. Pero it's a good thing that they didn't focus much on the combat. Pero it's a great combat mechanic. Kaya lang, they focus more on the story, which is, yun ang alam ng tao ng Bioware, kung anong Bioware talaga. So pero ngayon, we're seeing a mediocre storyline, and they're focusing on the gameplay. This might be yung crown jewel na parang redemption series na pagdating sa gameplay ng Bioware, pero we don't know. Pero ika nga is parang sabihin na lang natin na si Jollibee is nagyayabang na sila ang pinakamasarap na burger. Pero Jollibee is not, di ba? Jollibee is not known for their burgers. Jollibee is known for Chicken Joy, period. Di ba? They can outsell KFC or any other chicken company out there because everybody knows na ang Jollibee, pagdating sa Jollibee, Chicken Joy ka. Hindi ka pupunta, ako sa Jollibee, mag-champ ako, pare. May mga taong ganun, di ba? Pero hindi ka pupunta para sa champ. Kaya nga 10 minutes yan bago ilutuin kasi walang order niya. Di ba? 10 minutes po, sir. Kasi nasa freezer pa yan. Di ba? Pero yun nga, chicken talaga.
Gutom mo kasi sa usapang to.
Mamaya. Pero yun nga, di ba? Hindi ka rin pumupunta sa McDonald's para sabihin mo, kain ako spaghetti ng McDonald's, sarap nun eh. Ikaw yun. Tapos sa McDonald's, order ako ng fries. Di ba? Kasi yun yung number 1 nilang product. Aside from, they have homegrown burgers na alam na natin, katulad ng Big Mac, Quarter Pounder, and everything like that. Di ba? Pero, yun yung pinunta mo. So, pag bumili ka ng Bioware game, you're expecting, kasi ang galing ng gameplay. No, gusto ko na magandang story. Gusto kong dalin mo kasi Dragon Age. Diba? Hindi ka naglalaro ng Dragon Age kasi gusto mo mag-combat. Hindi. Gusto mo talagang mag-adventure. Gusto mo yung story, gusto mo yung para ka naglalaro sa isang movie. May mga twists and turns, depende sa mga sasabihin mo, magbabago, diba? Exclude na natin yung mga sex scenes nila. Pero, di ba? Yung mga romantic, nila, male to male, kasi, you can have romantic relationships with the same sex and all that. Well, that's beyond the point pagdating sa Bioware. Pero you have that as an option. That's how deep the role-playing mechanics of Bioware games. Talaga malalim. Pero they're now positioning themselves as a gameplay maker. So the reason why we brought this up is because of the thousands. If we search Anthem on YouTube right now, you'll have several negative reviews. Kasi when they released, I think their demo previously, diba?
So VIP something.
VIP. These are VIP. For those who don't know, is the VIP demo is for those who pre-ordered Destiny. Many people actually just bought the VIP demo, the pre-order the game for the VIP demo. They want to try it out. They're excited. The marketing did its job to get people interested in Anthem. Now they want to try it out. So, when I said na pag sinearch mo yan sa Anthem na daming negative reviews, because the experience was not that great. Number one, when they launched it, eto naman medyo OA naman kasi, pero for those who have been in the online gaming industry, if a game launches, you'll have server crashes talaga. Hindi ka talaga makakalag. I think WoW experienced that every now and then. Ano, di ba? Pag may bago silang expansion. Kasi magko-queue time ka talaga, di ba?
Although recently, natuto na sila eh.
Oo, yun nga. Kasi, pero how many years was that? Eh? Pero for so many years, pag may bago silang expansion, ganyan. Pero it's like nobody is listening to no one. Nobody is learning from no one. You release a demo, And you already know the number of players that are gonna log in because this is the number of pre-orders. Diba? Why can't you create like an environment where the servers will handle it? So parang, I mean, for how many decades na, ganito ang issue. Diba? People will log in, di sila makapasok. Ay, kasi siyempre, nagba-bottleneck sila dun eh. Sila makapasok, walang queue time system, walang ganyan. Diba? Tapos, I mean, the second issue, I think it's the load time issue and everything. Although all this were fixed probably a couple of hours in or a few hours after nilang ma-experience yun. They fixed it and everything. They released a patch for the demo and they fixed it. Wala na yung mga issue na yun. The second issue that they're having is like gameplay is not all that. Given that it's very cool to fly, it's very immersive. Pero what was shown in I think E3 and all that, which is alam mo na to, diba? Kasi E3 talaga, pag release talaga sila ng E3, alam mong marketing video yan eh. Mm-hmm. Marketing gameplay video yan. Hindi yan talaga malaman eh. You learned that yan. In Connection, The Division was like that. The Division, when they showed it on E3, it was one of the most revolutionary videos ever. Napakaganda ng you can even say na parang siya yung pinakamagandang gameplay reveal pagdating sa E3. Pero when the game released, it was so dumbed down. That's also including, what was that game? Watch Dogs. So it's the same issue with Ubisoft that they downgrade their graphics pagdating ng launch. Why did they do that? Siyempre, para makaya. Kasi when they released it, it was made by a company and all that. It did have its own gameplay para marami ng dagdag dun sa screen. Na parang may mga paper na mga ganon. Pagdating sa tunay, wala. Bland yung environment and everything. Yung mga tao parang patay. Hindi ka nila pinapansin. Pero pagdating doon sa nagre-react sa'yo sa E3 video, nagre-react sila sa'yo. Ganun, I think ganun din sa di ba? Sa Assassin's Creed, then they showed you bumping to parang there was this crowd of people that you can walk through and you can bump into them and all that. Tapos they hack like real people and everything. Tapos pagdating sa gameplay, yung mga tao hiwalay-hiwalay lang para makadaan. So, hindi rin siya okay. Parang normal na ganun. So, we saw that in The Division. Pero ngayon, nakikita rin natin sa Anthem, which is when they showed the video for E3, on E3, it was like from launch, so mag-launch yung mga suits nyo. I forgot what they call it, what the suits. The javelin. So, ang tawag sa mga suits. Ang tawag sa mga suits nyo is javelins. So, when you launch your javelins to the world, papakita ba doon na, pupunta siya sa isang tunnel, you can fly through the tunnel, which is, I think, still accurate. But when they land, they see this, yung scene na, nakita nila may nagpapatay ng mga monsters. And the players were like talking about it. Sabi niya, malakas. Sabi nung isa parang, we're not, hindi mataas yung level natin to fight that. And that monster actually reacted to them being there na parang, susugurin na sila. And they just dropped down and flew away. Pagdating doon sa demo, there's nothing like that. The world seemed empty. The world didn't seem alive. It was just a bunch of trees and everything like that. So it's just you, the javelin, and the enemies. Yun lang. So, mission to mission, ganyan. Yun ang ginagawa. EA or Bioware is trying to pull here. Pero what you show on your shows is what you should deliver. Even though it's hard, even though it gets delayed, pero that's what you deliver. Kasi tulad yan, demo pa lang. So reason nila is parang hindi yan yung build talaga namin ngayon, mas maganda na yung build pa na-release. Pero yun nga, ang sunod is parang kasi maliit pa yung map, which is obviously pagdating sa mga demo, maliit pa yung map. Pero maliit pa yung map, pagdating ng launch yan, mas malaki na yung area, so mas dadagdagan pa namin yung mga ganito. Fine. I think these are cop-out answers, in my opinion. Except the part where the build itself is the same, is real time. I think it's just a few weeks old, probably a month old, but it's not like 6 months old or something like that. So I think most of that is what we will see on the final product. What just concerns me is like, this is a loot-based shooter. Mabilis maubos ang content nito. It will be very grindy. Oh, by the way, sa mga iba dyan pala, I forgot to mention, one of the genres also included in this is Warframe. So we'll talk about Warframe after this and why Warframe is a cut above the rest. Pagdating sa tatlong games na to, Destiny, The Division franchise, and Anthem. So yun nga. It will be released in Feb 22nd, which is like 20 days from now. I think they just weekend na naman. So may VIP demo na naman or may beta demo or something like that pagdating sa Anthem. So right now, if you guys are following Anthem updates, you will see another next week of videos. Kasi syempre may NDA yan, non-disclosure agreement. Wag muna i-release yung mga ganyan, wag real time. Probably we'll tell you when the gag order is done, which is usually a week before the next demo is up again. So pero magkakaroon na ng public demo. Good luck sa mga server. Good luck na naman sa mga server niyan. Pero yun nga, inaabangan lang natin kasi usually naman yan talaga the best way to actually crash your servers is for demo. In compared to launch ka tapos magka-crash yung server mo, patay ka na yan. You're done for. Pero ngayon magka-crash siya pag mga beta ng ganyan, hayaan mo mag-crash yan. Kasi yan talaga yung kailangan ayusin. So para makapag-prepare pa yung mga developers. Pero yun nga, we're here. Ako, I wouldn't pay for Anthem. Although my son is really asking me to buy Anthem and everything. Gusto ko kasi The Division 2 kasi may Division ako. Pero yun nga, gusto niya Anthem. Pero I already had got Anthem because of the RTX 2060. So I just hope I could play it before launch. Kasi parang lalabas pre-order siya or what. Pero yun nga, sana makuha ko. So I can test it and I'll tell you guys. We'll probably put up some videos on it on the Facebook page and the YouTube so you guys can see it. Yeah, maangas na ako pare. RTX 2060, hindi ako mahihiya sa graphics ko. No? Mapakita natin ang ultra settings. Wag na. By the way, hindi kaya ng PC ko yung ultra settings. Kaya niya, pero it will crash because of not because the graphics can handle it, because my memory can handle it, but because my bottleneck is my CPU, my processor. It's a good processor, but it's i5, so it's not i7 or i9, which pag ultra settings or 4K graphics or whatnot, kailangan mo ng 8 cores or so. Or 6 cores. Quad core lang to. So, yun nga. High settings, walang problema. Walang crash dyan. High settings, maganda pa rin naman ang graphics nun. Ultra settings, we'll see. Pero NVIDIA is pushing yung... I mean, for those who are using NVIDIA, you already know of GeForce Experience. Ano yan? Sulsul yan, GeForce Experience eh. Kasi it automatically sets an optimal setting for your game. Pero it pushes your graphics card. Parang kung ano talaga yung pinakamakaya niya, yun ang itutulak mo. So yun, makakita ka ng oven ng mga PC pagdating sa NVIDIA GeForce. Minsan naman sobrang baba, sobrang minamaliit naman niya yung graphics card mo. Hindi mo kaya yan, low settings ka lahat. So yun. So ayun. So anyway, ano pa ba? Yun. So let's go now to the cut above the rest when it comes to loot-based shooter, which is Warframe. Now, the reason why Warframe is cut above... Alam mo na naman tong game na to, di ba? Jan?
Oh, yeah. Free-to-play na ninja.
nakakatawa kasi isang character or isang class sa Anthem plays exactly like a Warframe.
Talaga?
Yung Interceptor. Kasi it's a melee-based, parang close-range DPS. And it's really fast. It's really fast. Pero I think it's very hard to maneuver. Kasi nga kailangan master mo na yung paglipad, master mo na yung pag-jump. Kasi nga, you're gonna be in and out of battle eh. Yun. Yun. Kasi nga, like I said, I think our previous podcast or episode is like, Anthem also introduces yung Holy Trinity na yung threat system. So, yun, may threat system siya. Kaya medyo, on my end, mas madali siyang laruin. Kasi naintindihan ko yung threat system eh. Sigawan yun, hindi ba? Diba? Ang threat system sigawan, pare, pull mo naman! Diba? Mamatay ako dito eh.
Mga passionate na usapan to.
Diba? So, yun. Pull mo! Threat! Yeah. So anyway, punta tayo sa Warframe. Warframe is a cut above the rest because it's number one, free to play. Number two, it's the developers of Warframe are considered the most responsive among all developers. Para siyang CD Projekt Red of free to play. Kaya mahal na mga tao Warframe because let's say they're releasing a full expansion that would make. Kasi before, Warframe is the same as Destiny and everything. Instance game siya. So, for those who don't know, instant game is the same as Diablo. Only in town can you see other players. And if they're invited. Although in Warframe, an MMO where you can actually see other players kahit hindi sila invited sa mo. As long as they're in the same server and they're there in town, you can see them. Right?
Parang instance ano siya? Parang ano yung laro yan? Yung competition.
Isip ko kasi gaga Dragon Nest.
Ano ba yung kasabayan ng WoW na matagal hanggang ngayon meron pa?
Kasabayan ng WoW?
Well, maybe not kasabayan but sige, kalimutan ko na.
Pero alam ko kasing kasabayan ng WoW before is Guild Wars and it's instance play.
Yun.
Guild Wars is nasa town, makikita kayo. Pero Guild Wars 2 is open world na. Guild Wars 2 doesn't care. Makakita, kailangan kang kasi the way Guild Wars 2 is now played is parang kailangan mo talaga ng ibang tao sa field. Kahit hindi sila invited, walang instance dito. Yun. Pero sa Guild Wars 1, you were saying, sa town lang kayo magkikita, magsasayawan kayo doon, bahala. Pero pag mission time, you need to invite people for you to go to the mission. Otherwise, you won't see them outside. Ikaw lang. So yun. You can't solo anything. Kasi lahat ng mission, lahat ng maps and everything, para siyang parang lumalabas siya mini dungeon. Diba? Mini dungeon siya. So, solo mo yan, patay ka. Lalo na pag matataas na yung level. Tsaka mas maganda yung may cooperative. So, I think they employed, syempre kung loner ka, solo player ka talaga, may kasama. May mga henchmen naman to help you out. And they would do their job well, as long as you know your job. So, anyway. So, yun nga. Saan na ba ako? Yan, wala na ako.
yung instant.
Ayun ako, instant copy. Yeah. Ayun. So, yun nga. When Warframe was incepted, actually pangit yung Warframe noon. Pero when I entered Warframe, I think mga 2014, yeah, 4 years ago. When I entered Warframe, it was like an instant gameplay. I don't like instant gameplay. I wanted to see other people on the field kasi ang ganda ng graphics ng Warframe. Sobrang ganda. For a free-to-play game and have a graphics like that, and can handle. Kasi usually pag ang typical free-to-play game, when you have a higher gear or higher rig, high-end yung PC mo and everything, you're still playing the same game as yung lower rigs. Let's say Dota 2. Although Dota 2 is very demanding and LOL. Thing is, even mababa yung graphics card, you can still play 60 frames per second on League of Legends. And kahit higher rig ka, it's the same experience. So walang favor for higher graphic settings. Pero, and more often than not, pag yung game nga is like ganon, is hindi niya binibigyan ng importansya yung mga higher rig. Pero Warframe does that. You can play 4K on Warframe and you can handle it. It will give you 4K. Versus kung mababa yung rig mo, it will give you the same gameplay. Hindi nga lang 4K, hindi nga lang 60 frames per second, pero the same. Okay lang. Pero yun nga, parang all variety of gamers can play Warframe. Yun yung maganda, tapos free to play pa siya. But it's also a loot-based system. So most of the players that would enter it, parang, okay to, magdo-dominate na kagad. Hindi. Warframe is one of the hardest to understand game kasi may mga iba dyan, ang tagal na naglalaro, hindi pa rin nila maintindihan yung nahirapan pa rin sila mag-balance ng grinds and everything like that, what you're gonna do with your time and everything. Pero that's the key game, kaya siya addicting eh. Micromanage talaga siya lahat ng aspect ng game mo micromanage talaga. Plus, you have to put up the time. Kasi otherwise, lupaan yung character. Oo. Magsistay ka lang sa mga counting planeta like what I had kasi nga hindi na ako naglalaro. So, when I return, parang sabi ko, ang hirap na. Wala akong grind. Diyan pumapasok yung mga friends mo, yung mga everything like that. So, they can help you out. Pero yun nga, yun ang maganda sa Warframe. Plus, not only kaya tinatawag siyang Warframe is because it's this particular, you can say it's suit, pero hindi siya suit eh, kasi wala ka naman ibang, pero you can change what you look. You can upgrade your Warframe to another Warframe based on your playstyle, kasi there are like 3 or 4 initial game, which is ang number 1 kinukuha nila is parang yung what do you call this, parang which is yun din yung bibigay sa Anthem, is parang yung medium lang na long range, parang all around na tapos meron namang wizard, meron yung parang wizard range DPS, tapos meron yung medyo tanky and all that, na iba yung specialization and everything like that. So you can choose your weapons. Yun nga. Pero the main game nga is, main tagline is parang Space Ninja. So sobrang bilis ng gameplay and everything. Tapos it's a loot-based game. The reason why it's cut above the rest nga kasi is parang it releases expansion. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for expansions. It will just release, bago na yung expansion, nadagdagan yung places, ganyan, lahat to free. They make money through microtransactions. But the microtransactions is agreeable. Hindi siya, it doesn't change the gameplay. It doesn't make you stronger. Eventually, kasi you're buying yung mga ingredients to create new items, yung mga ganun. So you can craft better weapons. Pero yun lang. You can buy Warframe, which also doesn't change kasi no Warframe is sobrang balance yung mga Warframe. There's no Warframe that's better than the others. There might be cooler looking skills, pero the way you play it is really up to the player pa rin. Kasi meron yung, kung let's say basic lang yung gamit, mas magaling pa siya doon sa mga may perang. Magaling pa siya doon sa may pera. So that's why Warframe is cut above the rest. And it's how many years na yung Warframe? Diba?
So nga, no?
Buhay pa rin siya. And it's still being praised. And still being praised up to this day. Yung Plains of Eidolon, which is, yung sinasabi ko nga, they released the free expansion that made, what do you call this, that made Warframe, that made Warframe open world. It's free. It's free. Versus AAA developers releasing expansions like The Division and everything, you have to pay for it. So it splits, kasi pag ganun, it splits the player base in half eh. The other place doesn't want to play. I'm good not paying. I already paid for the game, $60. It's good. Pero when you release other contents, tas you're gonna play for it splits the pay. Kasi iba parang wala na akong $30 eh. Di ba? I have bills to pay, I have ganyan, di ba? Huwag mo na akong pabayarin. Maglalaro na lang ako. Yun. It splits the pay. Kasi yung mga kaibigan mo, kasi people you know already bought the expansion, you haven't. So it splits the player base. Hindi ako makalaro ng mga maps na meron kayo kasi wala naman ako expansion eh. I think that's how I felt when it came to Diablo 3. So I bought the main game, pero there was this expansion. Ayun, isa lang naman expansion ng Diablo 3. That split the player base kasi parang, meron siya. I think may bagong character which is a Crusader. I wanted to play that, but I couldn't. I can't earn it in game. I have to buy the game again. Plus, it gave me a new map. Hindi ko rin makalaro yung isang kaibigan ko because of one certain. He wants to play in this particular game mode. That game mode is only available on the expansion, which is BS talaga. Parang game modes, katulad ng let's say, for example, of how someone did it good is Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Siege. There can be 1,000 expansions that came through. And yung iba kasi sila parang mga Game Pass, mga ganun. They instantly get the operator. I have to earn it. I have to earn to get that operator. And it costs a lot of parang in-game currency. Pero all I have to do is just play every day. Win a lot of ganyan, so I can get more parang in-game currency, and then I can eventually get that. Pero the expansions, or depending on the parang DLC nila, it's free. It's free DLC, meaning the map that comes with that DLC, I can play it together with my friend. I just can't play the operator, the new character that comes along with it, kasi I haven't bought it. So yun lang yung diferensya. That should be the case. Diba? Meaning, if they release a Crusader, I should be able to get the through in-game currency or working hard or something like that. Kasi it sends the wrong message parang, no, you can't play this or you can't play on the new map. You can't play in the new game mode. Why? Because hindi ka nagbabayad. Hindi ka bumili ng bago. Which is wrong. So wrong. Diba? Diba? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you're gonna add a game mode that's only available on the expansion. Diba? So, yun yung sa Rainbow Six Siege, even if a new game mode comes, everyone is allowed to play it. If there's a new game mode, let's say it's like I think yung back then meron silang story, parang may outbreak, zombie, parang ganun. Ang mga kalaban ng mga crystallized monsters and everything. I can play that. I can play that with my friends. I just can't get the new the new operators right away. If either I don't pay for the a battle pass or I don't pay for it. Pero I can play the game mode that it's included with that new DLC. So you're doing it right, diba? You're getting people interested. And if seryoso ka to play that game, you're gonna put up the money. That's the essence of games in service. Diba? You like it so much, you're gonna put up the money. So that's fine. Pero don't shut me out from my friends.
Walang gated content.
Yun, exactly. Diba? Regardless kung may expansion sila, I don't care. Pero pag sinawag nating multiplayer, you gave me access to it. So yun yung mga, what do you call this? What we'll probably be seeing in the future when it comes to EA, because EA coined the term games in service. Ito yung medyo agam-agam ng mga games media pagdating sa Anthem and everything. Some are outright calling it, it's gonna fail or it's gonna get ganyan. Pero I think that's unfair naman. To Bioware. EA didn't make the game. They just published it. Bioware made the game. don't you like Bioware? Why? Because of that one game? Ito, sasabihin ko na pare. Mass Effect Andromeda, ang pinaka-failure ng Bioware. Mass Effect Andromeda is a single-player game, same as other Mass Effect series, but it sucked so bad. It's a game rush. Yun lang yun. So they're blaming EA for this, that you rushed Bioware, it's not ready. Why did you risk? Kasi yung nagda-dialogue sila, wala man lang facial expression yung ano. So you're like playing like a 2007 game na para siyang Oblivion.
Okay.
Di ba medyo parang bland yung mukha? Oblivion. So ganun yun. Although with like 4K graphics, pero bland yung mukha. They fixed it. Yung parang dead eyes kasi yung nangyayari dun. Dead eyes, parang walang yun yung parang yung dialogue, sabihin na natin example, hindi na mangyari to, pero parang hooray, di ba? Hooray, ganyan, pero yung mukha mo straight lang. So yun yung problema nila. Oo, di ba? Parang ganun lang. So di ba, yung voice nila is like upbeat, pero yung wala. So yun yung naging issue. They fixed it with one patch. So alam mo yun? Why? Because that patch was probably ready. They just couldn't meet the deadline of the launch. Diba? You can't fix something that, kumbaga lalo na pagdating sa graphics, you're gonna fix it in one patch? No, you're probably gonna fix it in several patches. Why? Because you're creating new content again. You're changing the faces and everything. So the reason why that is because probably placeholder lang yun ni-launch nyo eh. Diba? Diba? So yun yung hindi nakikita ng iba. Parang placeholder kasi yan eh. Dahil hindi pa ready mag-launch yung game. Nasa beta pa. Diba? Dahil EA yan. Kailangan ng shareholders na may pera na tayo. Release nyo yung Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda was riding on big Mass Effect series name. Plus Bioware's name. So, syempre, pre-order yan. Mass Effect Andromeda, bagong Galaxy, tas new protagonist. Tas wala. The Mass Effect right now is dead in the water. They don't know if they're gonna release a new one. Isip ko nga, sana lang yung Anthem. Mass Effect na lang to eh. Di ba? Mass Effect na lang to, na parang Destiny, tas Mass Effect. Okay lang yan. Maraming gagamit.
Probably, siguro if they're not making Anthem, Mass Effect ang ginagawa nila.
I doubt. There's still Dragon Age, man. Dragon Age is long overdue. They just teased it on E3, di ba? I think, not on E3. Games Awards. They teased it. They showed, I think, they're calling it Dragon Age Rise of the Wolf something. Yeah. Kasi it revolves around the elf. That hindi pala siya talaga yung character na yun. It was parang sinapian siya ng wolf god ng mga elves and everything like that. And he was a part of the companion. Malakas siyang wizard and everything. Kaya pala kasi parang god pala siya. Ayun. So, yun. Yun yung magiging story. Pero I hope not. I hope they introduce a new character. Kasi parang there are already 3 characters in the Mass Effect series na importante, which is the hero itself. And they're called differently. Parang yung may the Warden, yung Grey Warden, yung una. The second, I forgot the second. Pero there's a second part, and then the third is the Inquisitor. So, siyempre makakalimutan natin yung Dragon Age. Pero si Hawk yun eh. Si Hawk pala yun. Si Hawk. So, siya yung second character. Nag-cameo nga siya sa Dragon Age 3 eh. Na katulong naman yung Inquisitor. So, yun yung 3 characters. Pero hinahanap nila yung Grey Warden. Para siya si Diablo, yung The Wanderer na wala na lang. So, yun. The series still not finished. The story of the series still not finished. So, parang, hopefully, this sa 4, magkita-kita yung tatlo na yun. Which is great. Diba? 3 heroes plus the 4th hero on Dragon Age for whoever it is. So yun yung, I mean, when it comes to recent issues, when it pagdating sa gaming, yun yung mga gaming issues ngayon. Pero ika nga, ang question is this what we're seeing when it comes to AAA gaming nowadays, di ba? Ang AAA gaming ba is talagang failing? Because if we look at the numbers on EA itself, they've failed on like 3 games na. 3 big names. We're taking out of the context of EA Sports. EA Sports is still the biggest moneymaker. FIFA is still the biggest moneymaker for EA. But when it comes to their RPGs, their other games, they're not raking in the sales. This is the same. Ngayon, Bethesda has tainted its glory. Na they can't release anything. They released a multiplayer online game then that didn't work. Pero is their single player game gonna suck? Gonna have the same issue? Blizzard is being tainted. So because of what new IP for Diablo, which is Diablo Immortal. So diba? So ano ba to? These are AAA developers and publishers. Are we seeing this kind of trend to them? I mean, so far Ubisoft Ubisoft has always been Ubisoft. Their criticisms have always been the same. But it isn't as bad as EA. Diba? So they're not losing money. Ubisoft is not losing money. They just gained a huge amount of money from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The same the past year, which is past 2 years, the same as Assassin's Creed Origins. So they're on a new path right now. Their other games didn't make much headway. Parang nirelease na naman yung The Crew 2 na nag-suck na naman. The Crew already bombed. The Crew 2 is, so I think they're gonna stop that series.
Ito ba yung
MMO.
Racing game na
MMO?
Oo, yung buong map ng US.
Yeah, this. Yeah, it was a great. I bought that game on launch.
Gandang concept.
It's a great concept. I mean, Ubisoft has one of the best concept when they released yung IPs. Ang issue nga lang kasi talaga, like they rehash every system. So I'm used to like playing Assassin's Creed and everything. So parang Assassin's Creed Black Flag yata yun. Tapos they released The Crew. So when you see, siyempre, kotse ka lang, di ba? So okay, laro-laro. The once you open the map, it was like, wow, Assassin's Creed din. It's the same system, yung classic na yung importante sa mapa, classic diamond shape siya. Classic Ubisoft talaga yan. Ubisoft talaga. Diamond. Yung square na,
Kumbaga, nandun na eh. Why recreate the wheel, kumbaga?
Yun nga eh. Pero parang, hindi mo naisip, iba yung IP. Hindi mo pwede magkaroon ng ibang look man lang. Pero alam mo yun, talagang, their engines are the same. It works. They apply it on everything just to save, diba, most amount of money. So, parang, oh my God. I was like, yeah, fine. But it works. I mean, the Crew was like, okay for me. Pero, I mean, this is first. I mean, ikaw, you're used to Need for Speed naman, di ba?
Okay lang.
Okay lang, di ba? Parang nakalaro ka naman ng Need for Speed. Pero, I mean, it's the same as Need for Speed. Pero, I mean, how long does one race for Speed last? At most, mga 10, 15 minutes, di ba? Mga ganun, no? I mean, imagine the Crew actually introduced 1 hour, 2 hour races.
Talaga?
Kasi it's like from state to state. It's like you're going through 3 states. and you're going like 200 miles per hour. Of course, it's a shortened map of the United States. Hindi mo siya ganun kahaba. Abutin siya ng araw. Pero yun nga, parang ganun, 2-hour race. I was like, naantok na talaga ako. As in, literally, I was like, I was really driving. I was really driving. Siguro yun yung ano nila, yun yung ini-introduce nila, parang Le Mans. Parang endurance race. Mga 30 participants, tapos you're gonna pass through every one of them sa haba ng race. Ganun. Sabi ko, ano yan, swerte ka na nga pag nakakita ka na parang, uy, in-overtake ako, ang bilis niya. Diba? Good luck kung mahabol mo yan. Pero yun nga, grabe, haba. I mean, I was literally, para akong nagda-drive na talaga ng like 3 hours. Right? I mean, there was one experience I had was like, I really fell asleep. Pag namulat ako na, I was running the fields and was like, wow, wrong way, wrong. Ganun siya kahaba pa. Sobrang, when you're talking about immersion, sobrang immersed ka talaga. Natulog na ako eh. Reality driving. Ay, no.
Pero buti na lang game yung nakatulog ka.
Oo nga. Yun nga, diba? May mga warning naman yan, diba? Sa start yung mga racing game. Don't do this in real life. Malamang, patay na ako. No. But it was an okay game. I didn't mind it. It was an arcade feel. Hindi naman siya masyadong realistic pagdating sa driving niya. It's more of the race lang talaga. So parang the same as like Need for Speed, yung mga past games, yung mga underground games, ganun. Okay naman siya. Ganda naman siya. Ang akin lang is parang there are very less parang events where you can race against other players. Mostly co-op. So, yun yung hindi ko nagustuhan. Kasi parang yun yung maganda sana aspect niya na parang ano mo lang, Chicago streets ka and everything, tapos may kita mo isang player o karera?
Hamulan.
Oo, diba? Kasi MMO eh. Although hindi siya nagmukhang MMO kasi may mga server siya eh. Buga parang it's only one server pero may layers, alam mo yan. So, you don't see all of the players that are playing on the map. Kasi you'll see traffic dito. Pero yung makikita mo siya parang, okay, konti lang yung nasa mapa ko. And it's fun to actually, you're cruising on the deserts of like Nevada or ganyan, Arizona. Tapos biglang may makita kang player na malapit. May bubusina. Pip. Eh, syempre, isipin mo ng player, naghahamon, karera ka. Pero nagko-cross country ka, so parang you're just on your cruising speed. Hindi ka nagkakarera. Pero yun, maganda na, okay siya. I mean, I enjoyed some of it. The story, I just left na lang kasi parang makwenta yung story. Makwenta yung story niya eh. Parang simple lang. Pero yun nga, endgame content, kere lang. Ganyan. It's a race to get the best cars. Yun lang. Pero the Crew 2 I didn't touch. I didn't even buy that thing. I was like, pangit kasi may mga aeroplano, motor. The Crew is known for that, to mix up yung mga vehicles. Pero pangit. Hindi ko talaga gusto kasi parang aeroplano. Ano yung aeroplano? Ba't ako makipagkarera ng aeroplano? Diba? Wala namang movie tungkol sa aeroplano. Kasi parang, I mean personally, that's my motivation. If I see a movie that's cool enough, I know there's a game like that. Diba? That's the kasi sobrang dami ng games. I know there's a game like that.
Or if hindi, merong writer na makakakita ng game na yan, gagawa siya ng movie na.
It's actually the reverse. Diba? So yun yung maganda sa gaming industry ngayon kasi parang tulad nun, Anthem, Iron Man. Diba? They just took one, gusto ng mga tao ng Iron Man. What if you could fly like Iron Man? Can we build an Iron Man game. Oh, we don't have the license for Marvel. Now let's just make a new IP. Di ba? Di ba? Simpleng concept lang ng Bioware. Siguro, isang nga lang na developer yun gumawa nun. Oh, ito mo, look at what I did. I made Iron Man. Maganda yan na idea na what if we can make a lot of that, tapos may mga iba-ibang Iron Man suit. Kasi, yung I forgot the name of the I forgot the name of the javelins. Pero yun nga, parang yung tank nila. Parang siya, yung, kasi laki siya nung, yung Hulkbuster. Oo. Ganun yung itsura niya. Ganun yung itsura niya, Hulkbuster. Parang sa ang cool naman yung itsura. So parang yung Iron Man, lahat ng pinagsama. Meron yung manipis na, mga light armor, ganyan. Parang sabi ko, it really looks exactly, particularly Storm. Storm is like the wizard of the crew, parang long-range CPS with healing capability.
The crew or Anthem?
Yeah, ito, Anthem na to. The Storm is, yun nga, yung long-range, parang wizard. They spend more of the time, kung parang flight time niya mas mahaba kumpara sa ibang javelins. Pero that basic character looks exactly like any character in Destiny. Yung itsura talaga niya parang Destiny. Yun lang Tapos niya sabi ko nga Interceptor looks like Warframe. So sabi ko, yan dami nilang market na halatang-halata Pero yun nga, ang ganda naman siya visually. And everybody's saying that. No one is saying that it sucks, ang pangit ang visuals. I think the only criticism without bias that they can say is like the gunplay feels off. It's not as strong as they look at it. Parang floaty daw. So parang
hindi siya. Lang yan yung
feeling ko, madali lang i-patch yun Madali lang i-patch yun. Yun lang criticism. Pero yun nga, I mean, the life of these developers or publishers are really hard when it comes to that. How do you piece up what criticism do you take and what do you disregard as parang bashing lang or ganun lang at lato. Kasi I think right now ang naging villain, if you know him, pero he's been a reviewer of a YouTuber that's reviewing games. Angry Joe. Angry Joe.
Oh.
So he's being criticized for like staying pinpointing. Kasi Angry Joe is a ranting show
Angry Joe
if you want to hear someone rant on a game, on a review, then you listen to him. Pero I don't think he's a reviewer anymore. Kasi he posts his content. I don't know, yung video lang niya, parang he doesn't really focus that much now on reviewing. Pero he reviews a game like after 3 weeks after it has released. Sometimes a month after it has already released. Doon lang siya maglalabas ng review niya for a particular game. Hindi na siya masyadong focus sa reviewing. Marami siyang ginagawa Pero yun nga, ang nag-focus siya kasi, what do you focus on? I think he focused on one particular aspect. And he's already saying na parang it sucks. Anthem will fail. Diba?
Hindi ka. I mean, entertaining naman yung panoorin si Angry Joe.
Oo naman. Oo nga.
Do you think na umabot sa point na naghahanap na lang siya ng just kasi naghahanap siya ng something to rant about?
Ingay.
Kasi yun nga yung theme ng show niya, di ba?
Oo. Kasi, I mean, his, what do you call this? His rants are mostly about what the community is already agreeing on. Loot boxes, he hates that. Microtransactions, he hates that. Yun nga, most of the what the community hates. He hates that. But sometimes he gets it so wrong because he's so into it na ayaw niya. May mga personal preferences na ayaw niya talaga. And sometimes I don't agree with it. Yung parang, really? That's an issue for you? Parang ang babaw. Diba? So, pero I respect him much. Sometimes maganda rin siyang source ng information. What's happening. Or I moved on to a different, mas mabilis mag-produce ng content, what they can see more of like media type content. Like sila YouTubers like si Yongye, si Clint Prince Gaming that would make essays, then read it out. And points per points. Ibig sabihin, good points based on evidence, not based on personal preferences. Although minsan si Yongye galit na galit. Galit na galit yun sa Bethesda. Hindi, sa Fallout 76 siya galit na galit. Kasi nga, mahal na mahal niya yung Bethesda. Parang sayang, kaya rin, di ba? Sira lang.
You betrayed me, ano ba? Rant.
Parang kasi yung pa si Yongye, kasi mahilig siya magbili ng yung collector's editions. So, pag he's paying like $100, $200 for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's, di ba? That's no joke. Dito, 10,000. Yung mo bumibili ng collector's edition. Si Alice, di ba? Editions. So, isipin mo na lang.
Yung Sotor.
Oo, di ba? Ikaw bumili ka?
Yung ano lang.
Collectors?
Sotor lang. It's Star Wars eh.
Hindi, Sotor lang binili mo or standard edition or parang may collector's edition?
Collector. Yung may statue.
Sino ba yun? Si Malgos? Maganda ba yun? Maganda naman.
Okay lang. Ay, hindi mo siya makakompare kay sa mga hot toys. Iba yung hot toys.
Okay. Hindi siya yung parang pang-display ng todo. Or maganda rin yung artwork niya. Yung
okay na. Pag hindi ka masyadong sa mga statues, okay na siya. Pero pag tinabi mo siya sa isang hot toy na brand,
patay.
Wala.
Halatang package lang siya, no? Parang sinama lang siya sa bundle.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying na
it could have been better. Okay. Pero siguro kung binenta si Malgos na mag-isa lang, I think that would be better. Pero since it's included in a bundle, they have to think of like several people having this and mass producing it. Diba? Kasi yung mga ganun,
mas mahal siya.
Oo, di ba? Yung mga display na ganun, usually konti lang. Yung artist nun, konti lang gagawin eh. Kasi parang, hirap naman ito. Diba? Kasi parang, lalo na yung mga sobrang lalaki. So, several parts kasi yun eh, di ba? So, syempre pag nagkamali sa manufacturing, uulit sila. Di ba? Lalo na kung handmade. Naku, kano kaya yun? Yung mga sa anime, yung sabi yun eh. Di ba? Yung mga ano yun? Luffy ba yan? Parang sa anong anime yan?
One Piece?
One Piece. Di ba? Yung mga display pieces nila, parang sobrang gaganda. Pero sobrang gagastos ka rin and alam mong konti lang kayo meron nun, di ba? So, kawawa talaga yung artist na gumagawa kasi sobrang delicate yung mga pieces. I-piece together mo pa pag dumating sa'yo. Di ba? So, yun. Na-imagine ko na nga lang talaga yung tabletop, yung Warhammer tabletop scene para sa'yo. I mean, I so respect these people because they create artwork even if they're just playing. Why? Kasi they painted everything themselves. When you buy one of these pieces, kahit isang platoon lang na gano'n, gray lahat yan eh. Walang kulay yan. Hindi yan, you don't buy it, they give you like, I don't know. I haven't seen an unboxing of that. Pero I think it comes with like default colors. Kung ano yung nandun sa design box and everything. Default colors or default paint. Na you're gonna put on your units. Pero yun nga, I mean, what's the local tabletop shop?
Neutral Grounds
sells paint, diba? For Warhammer. Kasi I mean, I think the neutral grounds that I remember that sells everything was like in Galleria, in Robinsons. So, sobrang dami nilang Warhammer pieces. I would spend hours. I'm not gonna buy. I was just admiring these people. Tapos their displays. Na what they're selling is like, shit. Sabi ko, I was like, these are like expensive. Noon, mga 5,000, expensive na yun eh. Well, ngayon pa rin naman. Pero, yung 5,000, malaki na yon. Pero yung mga, ano lang, kahit mga 1, 2 lang na piece na gano'n. So, isang maliit na box lang gano'n. Sabi ko, wow! Tapos ikaw magpipaint na ito isa-isa? Sabi ko, wow. Kasi iba yun, airbrush pa. Yung parang sabi ko, you guys are, parang, ba't di na lang kayo, tanggalin nyo na yung tabletop, mag-design na. Gawa kayong business, ako magpipaint na. No? Parang sabi ko, diba? Paint ko na lang yan sa'yo. Kung wala kang time, bayaran mo na lang ako. Anong gusto mong design? Diba? Kasi syempre, ibabagay lang naman nila yon sa what I call this, sa mga existing legions ng Warhammer, di ba? Parang, by Warhammer 40,000 is like several legions. Like, ano mo, gusto mo, Bloodraven or Ultramarines? Sige, paint natin ang usual Ultramarines. Or do you want some customized Ultramarines na ganyan? May mga basag-basag yung mga armor. Diba? Parang cool lang sila sa battlefield. Ayun nga, di ba? Oh my God. These guys have so much time. Diba? Ngayon kasi video game na play it. No, you pay $60, everything is there. Tapos you're gonna run. Ang pangit ang design mo. Yeah? Ayun. Yun nga. So, yun lang. I mean, I think that's the theory that I have for 2019 when it comes to the games that are coming out. Theory that I have is like, pero ito, last question na to, pare. Do you think this theory is correct? Like, are we seeing lots of new IPs coming out for 2019 and the coming years versus AAA games, AAA publishers just publishing games for reiterations, like remasters of old series games? When it comes to like a financial standpoint, tingin mo, if you're like a shareholder or something, sa tingin mo, mas lucrative ba kung magre-risk ka ng new IP, new idea, new game, new story, new everything, versus something that can be nostalgia? May word na ba na gano'n? Medyo nostalgic sa mga gamers. And we're just gonna repaint it or something.
Pero ngayon, I think they have to do both eh. Kasi, di ba, parang dapat yung bar ng kung anong maganda is tumataas eh. And, di ba, it takes time to make it yung ganun kaganda. So, I mean, in between from start na tsaka yung game na, yung end ng game na yun, wala silang nilalabas. Parang wala silang income eh. Pataas na rin ng mga mga cost nila eh. So I think most will be remakes, but I'm sure they have something at the back na ginagawa din.
Pero kasi ito on an EA standpoint yun eh, di ba? Parang gano'n. Pero do you think that's a good balance na we're just seeing like small studio ba tawag sa CD Projekt Red? Pero minor studio. Sabihin na natin minor studio. Kahit sabihin natin major studio naman talaga. Pero sabihin na natin minor studio creating AAA games like CD Projekt Red. Do you think the balance is correct? Na
what do you mean balance?
Yung parang EA will just rehash old IPs and just make it new. Like Blizzard will just make StarCraft 3, Diablo 5, or Diablo 4, and all that. Then continue that path. Tapos let the new IPs come from new developers. You think that balance is correct, or should these AAA develop or publishers and developers still create new IPs?
maganda sana if they, but it's not, I think they have to na eh. I mean, they have to yung
rehash?
Rehash or continue with the least amount of expense that they can do.
Yun nga eh, diba?
Kasi, ito mga to, big companies na to eh. Laki-laki na ang cost na nila eh. At yun ang maganda sa maliit na studio eh. Maliit lang yung cost mo. Malaki yung legroom mo to do any crazy stuff eh.
Oo nga, yung mga na-interview natin, kahit yung local mga devs natin, parang medyo wala pa silang pakialam din kung gawin namin kung ano gusto namin. Kasi nga, this is our first try, di ba?
It's not that na tinatamad na yung big studios, parang it's more of kailangan nila to continue their operation eh.
Oo nga. Oo, sa bagay. Kasi nga, yun nga, di ba, parang if you're new studio, you're looking to cement your place in history rather than someone that just made parang a rehashed idea of something else, di ba? Gusto mong makilala as your own thing, as to start something new. So, yun ang usual. So, bagay, sa tingin mo, mukhang mas magandang balance. Like, AAA studios should just focus on remasters of their old games. And sometimes, releasing, kung may new studio sila, or may studio sila may oras, di ba? Gumawa sila ng bagong IP. Pero yun nga, kasi ngayon sa market, risky na no? Kasi kahit nga tulad yung Battlefield 5 is an old IP that has a new sequel. Pero it still went down. It's still walang sales halos. They're lower. They're lower than last year, than last game. Pero yun nga. So this, the reason why is we're going back to Anthem again. New IP ang Anthem. It's the same looter, a loot-based shooter than any all others out there. Pero it's a brand new IP for EA. This is their first loot-based shooter, I think. So they're trying to dip their toes in this loot-based shooter market. Kasi malaki. Pero they're not promising microtransactions here. Yun yung nakakatawa, no? You expect them to release microtransactions on a game that would create money for microtransactions, pero they're not doing that. They're just selling skins cosmetically. Anyway, I wish them luck. I wish myself luck that I enjoyed the game. Pero hindi naman ako bumili. Ha ha ha. The Division na bibiling ko. The Division na bibiling ko. Pero sana, no? Makikinig ka, Horus. Gigabyte. Ha? Approve niya na. Ha? Approve niya. Para makuha ko na yung code ko. Ha? Saka lang yan na yan. Ha? Okay. So, yun. Yeah. Anything else, man?
Nah, yun lang.
Yun lang. Okay, so wala na. Any announcements ba na meron tayo?
Wala. Still
wala
uploading ako.
Okay, sige. Upload lang natin yan. So, guys, remember, we're already on the usual Spotify, iTunes. And we're also releasing new episodes on Facebook. So, bahala na kayo kung saan nyo gusto manood. Or makinig pala. Ayun. So,
one week delay ang Facebook at saka YouTube.
Oh, well, as long as we have it on Spotify, so I think it's fine. So, yun. So, ito lang payo ko for those who are listening to our podcast and everything. I know it's pretty long. Like right now, we're running on almost 2 hours, diba? So, I know it's pretty long. So, payo ko lang, don't listen to a podcast. I mean, it's really up to you. Pero I suggest you listen to our podcast, on convenient times. Particularly if you're bumibiyahe kayo, if you're going to school, you're going to work. Just save it on your Spotify and everything. Then listen to it on your phone. And just, let it rip. Diba? Kasi that's the best way to enjoy it. Or if you're doing something, let it play. It's on the background. It's basically a radio show. Diba? That's about gaming and diba? So if you have any suggestions, you tell us when we post this episode. Sabihin nyo sa amin kung ano yung gusto nyo yung pag-usapan namin, and we'll talk about it. Kahit maliit na topic yan, madaling pag-usapan yan. Madaldal naman ako. Si John, maraming masasabi yan. Nahihiya lang yan, pero maraming input yan. Naku, sinasabi. Pag off the air kami, dami nasasabi niyan. Pero, I mean, we'll talk about it. And if we have guests, even if we have guests, we can talk about the topic that you suggested. We're open to that. Madali kaming kausap. So, I mean, lahat naman pwedeng pag-usapan. Kahit sino, may suggestion kayo kung sino gusto nyong kausapin namin, streamer, or someone who wants to join the stream and everything. You guys can also join if you want. Kung gusto nyo talagang pag-usapan, sure, wala naman kaming issue dun. If you have something to say on the podcast and everything, we can invite you to our Discord and all that. So wala kaming sariling Discord, we're just using Discord right now for recording and everything. We'll probably have a Discord for you guys. Pero yeah, sure, we can invite you to join our podcast and everything. Wala namang issue dun. So yun, that's our show for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day ahead of you, and that's it. So have a great day, and wag masyadong puro kalaro, ha?